everybody and welcome to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire. Here we are. The first session was a prologue just to introduce you and remind you about our good old friend Fedoran. What a card, isn't he? And yeah, so this is the first session proper really, although it might be a bit of a short one. I'm recording this quite late at night in order to get this up tomorrow. I have to record this now because I've got a very busy day. Tomorrow will be Wednesday when you're seeing this. So thought I'd just give you a quick run through from the menu screen how this series is going to run, some of the options I have, which of course are all subject to change pretty much depending on my feelings as we progress. But for now, we have two DLCs installed. We have the Beast of Winter and the Forgotten Sanctum, which we'll get to at some point I'm sure. Not bothered about Seeker Slayer Survivor though. And there's a host of freebies to boot. Hold on to your hats folks, but I have also installed a mod. Just the one, and it's the enhanced user interface mod, which makes the game mechanics easy to understand. It's added some different colours to some of the mechanics of the game, such as your deflection and things. So we'll see how that works, but it did look pretty good, so I've got that installed. In terms of anything else really, turned that off. Don't want any sort of hints as to what these decisions are in the conversations. Auto pause, I am playing real time with pause. I've contemplated the turn-based mode, but I thought it'd be too tedious and long-winded for an LP, so I'm going with the real time with pause. I'm pausing on abilities finishing and also long casting times finishing, so it might make it feel a little bit more pause-based perhaps, or turn-based with those pausing there. We'll see how this goes. We'll tinker with these if necessary. And yeah, I'm not going to be using my camera for this one. It's keeping it to a sort of classical feel, given the nature of the game, you know, classical isometric and all that, so we'll stick with the old school style. And I might be feeding in, not anywhere near as often as the earlier parts of the Baldur's Gate series, but certainly at some places feeding in some narrative themes, whether it's to do with the history or the lore of Eora, which we never really experienced and explored properly in the first game in terms of my own knowledge. So I'll be using this as an opportunity to enhance that through feeding it in some narrative at the appropriate points. And we never really got any insight into Fedoran's history, did we? Who was his parents? Where did he come from exactly? How old is he? All these kind of things were never addressed in the first game, but will be threaded into the series and playthrough through narrative in this one. So hence, any kind of narrative with a face cam on is going to be a bit weird, because I'll be talking in narrative form and my lips won't be moving on the camera, so yeah. we'll go with that for now. And finally, real time with pause of course. Oops, no, there you go. We're going to be playing on veteran mode. Could be tough to start with. Apparently the game gets easy as you go along, so we'll keep an eye on things, and we can always tweak these in-game if needs be. And I'm not a big fan of level scaling, even for the critical path. I'll play the game as it's intended. If we're too high or too low a level, we'll deal with it. If it's too game-breaking, we can change it in-game. So I think that's covered all of the kind of housekeeping things. So without further ado, it's back to the character creation screen. Right, welcome back to character creation. So yeah, just going to kind of fly through this. I could have got to the end and just give you the finished result, but no, we'll go through it all together. So of course Fedoran is a male, yes, and he is a human, and he is ocean folk. Multiclassing is a thing in this game. Fedoran isn't multiclass. I think most of my in-game characters, you know, the story characters, I'm probably going to single class just because they're not optimized for multiclass, I don't think. I might create at least one, possibly two, custom-made characters to dabble with multiclass. A certain dwarf might make an appearance, for instance, but that's just for the purposes of experiencing the multiclass mechanic. I prefer to do that with custom characters. He's a wizard. You're a wizard, Fedoran, which gives him a few other little bits and bats, and there are ability trees now. I mean, for a wizard it's just all about the spells, so it's not too difficult. There are some passive abilities along the way which we might not be able to maximise, so we might have to just pick which ones we feel are most appropriate. But yeah, other classes have got some weird and wonderful trees, which will be interesting to get a grip of. Now, this is another interesting feature. We can specialise in certain arts, and they give you gained increased power for some types of spells, but then you suffer with others. He's just a plain Jane kind of generalist guy, is our Fedoran. No bonuses and no penalties to any of his types of spell. Also an interesting addition here, blood magic. And we get one, yes, just the one spell. And I bet you could put money on what that is going to be, can't you? Yeah, it's good old faithful. It's Minoletter's minor missiles. So some interesting things to look at on this particular screen in terms of the differences between this game and the previous that I've noticed is their penetration, I think, is a new... It's a similar concept to the old game, which was... God, what was it? I can't remember. But anyway, it's penetration versus armour rating, which is a slightly different makeup to the previous game. And noise. Noise is a thing here. Certain things are noisy, and your enemies can not just see you now, but they can also hear you. So, yeah, interesting. And then, of course, his attributes. I'm going to put these two exactly the same as they were in the character creation for the first game. Any proficiencies that he gained in any of these through his adventuring, through you know, through natural progression, getting better at certain things through experience, has now been lost through his laziness over the past 5 years. So he's regressed to the exact same levels that he was when he started his adventures 5 years ago. We gain a point of intelligence from our culture, so that would be 16, or should be 16, and will be as we go forward. Old Valia, 1 to intellect, there you go. So his stats are exactly as they were at the start of the first game. We can pick 2 weapon proficiencies. He was using, I believe it was a scepter, the Soulbound Scepter, which name escapes me. So he's proficient in that, and wands. We'll go with wands as a secondary. Stick with the old magical implements. Okay, so portrait, here he is. Back again. Favourite colours? Purple, of course, and black. Skin colour, we'll go with that. And his hair, what have we got here? Hair is black, is fine. Eyes, brown. I think that's also fine. Okay, so head then. So this is trying to get as close as possible, not just to the portrait, but to the first game. I'm thinking that's not too bad. In terms of beard, we'll just go with the old goatee. That's as close as we're going to get without going too extreme. I was quite tempted to say that he's probably maybe grown his beard over the past 5 years and gone with that look, but we'll go with the shorter one for now. And the hairstyle. In the first game he was donning, although we didn't see that often due to headgear, kind of a side combed effect that was not too dissimilar from that. It's a bit more of an extreme version, but it was quite similar to that. So I was thinking, yeah, we could stick with that again. But hey, 5 years have passed. Maybe a change of style for old Fedoran. And I've changed my mind and gone with that. Hey, he's a flamboyant individual. He's kind of strange, isn't he? If you haven't gathered that by now, you never will. So yeah, going with that kind of style. You wouldn't expect an Archmage to look like that, would you? But yeah. And that is that. His voice, we were using cocky in the first game.
Nothing will slip past me.
Don't quite like that in this one. This is a little bit closer.
Quickly and quietly.
I've got this. Let's go.
Still not perfect, but it's as close to, as I'm going to get to the old voice, considering I've tested all of these. And pose. This is interesting. There's a variety of different poses your character, I assume, takes when he's just stood around idle. Don't know how often we're going to see it in the game, but some of them are really silly. We could go plain Jane boring average, but he's not a plain Jane average kind of guy, so we are going to go with something a bit different. And he is a learned, knowledgeable fella, which is erudite. So we'll pick that. Yeah, I don't... erudite? Maybe it's just the abject kind of I'm better than you, I'm kind of pose, maybe. I'm Fedoran and, yeah, you know, you should know who I am. I don't know. We're going to roll with it. Flamboyancy at its finest. He's back, baby. He's back. So, summary screen. We've got Power Source Arcane. That's a new feature in this game. I haven't done too much research about the mechanics just yet. That's my task for before the next session. But there are some noticeable differences already. Namely, there are some new skills. They are split into active and passive now. So we've got like Arcana, Explosives, and Sleight of Hand, which are different. Alchemy. Don't think there was an alchemy stat, was there, in the first game? Specifically? Could be wrong. But then we've got a whole host of passive skills, which mostly are new. We've got Bluff, Diplomacy, History, Insight, Intimidate. Yeah, scary as hell. Metaphysics, Religion, Streetwise. So some interesting passive skills. Now I believe the skill system works a little bit differently in this game. Rather than it being based on an individual, it's based on a party score. So each individual brings their skills to the party, and it's the party score that counts for checks. Correct me if I'm wrong, of course, but that's what I've gathered from my playthrough 2 Christmases ago, and my memory could be a bit hazy. But yeah, obviously Fedoran will be well suited to some of these, not others, but hopefully other party members will make up for his deficiencies. So there we go. Happy with that? Because I am. Okay, let's go.
Go forth now, Watcher, as my herald. Know that I do not give you this title lightly. When the time comes, you will have the power to reveal the souls that cling to you, to open the gateway from the in-between to the waking world.
Another title to add to his growing list, as per the prologue. Herald of Berath. Blessing or curse, we're yet to find out.
Find Aethys. Learn his plans. When I have cause to talk to you, I will summon you.
I don't like the sound of that.
With a quick gesture of her hand, you feel a sharp pain in what would be your chest. The pain continues, intruding deeper into your soul. Looking down, you see a small lump of darkness roiling within you. The darkness lingers there, but the pain abates and fades entirely within the span of a few seconds.
A chime. Do not fear, Herald. It will not harm you unless you choose to cross me. I trust it will not come to that.
Her gauntleted hand gestures to the dwarf, hovering nearby.
Okay, we're like a dog on a leash, aren't we, really? At her beck and call, and now we're locked in. We do anything against her wishes and we'll probably end up dead.
The dwarf nods, contorts his face with his odd smile, and gestures to a new door.
Oh, and you can just see the outlines of his erudite pose. Thank you, Berath. I'll be in touch. Or rather, you'll be in touch. Anyway, we have come to what looks like our body, actually. And a rather familiar face.
The return to your body feels like waking after a fitful drunken sleep. The rocking of the ship sends pain jolting through your limbs. Crashing waves hammer inside your skull. Adair watches over your body with a glazed look, taking long, even tokes from his pipe. At the first movement of your chest, he starts. His gasp, mid-puff, sends him coughing and straining for breath.
No, there's no way. You're awake. What are you doing awake?
Oh, well, look who it is. It's Adair.
How are you feeling?
I'm alive.
Alive's a big improvement.
Yeah.
I hate to cast a pall over your recovery, but I'm afraid I have some bad news for you.
And it's Susie. Susie the steward. Look at that. Not quite in the form of a throne, but hey.
The voice echoes from inside the bust. The remains of the steward of Cad Nua.
Excuse me, love. She's called Susie, okay?
Cad Nua has been destroyed. Aethus possessed the statue of Maros Nua and rose from the ground, consuming the souls of all nearby.
Yes, I'm quite aware of that. Thank you for reminding me.
It is only by the exceptional strength of your soul that you survived. And even then, just barely.
Yes, well, many lesser men have perished.
The further Aethus withdrew, the weaker you became. We chartered this ship and followed him to the Deadfire archipelago.
The where?
I know not how, but it seems he has retained a piece of your soul. And proximity to it has brought you back.
Yes, I am quite aware of all of this.
How could you know all that? You've been faking on us.
He pokes at your shoulder with one finger.
You know me, Adair, a man of knowledge.
Misfortunes brewing topside, Magrans fires the captain stirs.
An older man with ale-sour breath rubs his bloodshot eyes and stares at you.
Engrim, the smell of drink on your breath could wake the very dead. Now what's this about?
Pirates. They're demanding parley with you, Captain.
I know this is asking a lot, but you better arm yourself and get on deck. Should be some gear in there.
He indicates a nearby wardrobe.
Are you addressing me as captain? Captain of my own ship, whilst unconscious? I surprise even myself sometimes. Right, wardrobe full of goodies. Right, an interesting fact that I did read about Valians is that they are actually supposedly quite good at navigating the old sea. Fedoran's never had to, but, well, times have changed. So a weathered grimoire, a scepter, a wand, some armour, some coin, and Hylea's bounty. Another interesting fact, sorry about this, but the choice that I picked in the first game to return the souls to the Hollowborn, that was Hylea's option. We of course never did Hylea's quest because it involved killing the Sky Dragon.
Alright, now make some use of it.
Okay, so this I'm going to take a look at. This is our grimoire, and spells work differently in this game. I'll read this off camera. Right. We'll go with scepter to start with. And do we need to put, grimoire in there? There we go. And do we don't need mail armor, certainly not. Okay.
The pirates of Deadfire are notorious, I suggest you deal with them quickly.
But had time to come round. Adair, come.
Well, what have we here? A little sloop? Lost and alone in the storm?
So the narrator, I don't believe, narrates every single line. I think it might be certain important bits. So I'll have to loosen up your vocal cords for that. Anyway, I'll let you read that one for now.
I'll be taking your ship now, if you don't mind. And especially if you do.
Well, at least he asked.
Good to see a pirate with manners.
I am a gentleman of fortune.
The captain shrugs in the sheeting rain before pinning you with a slow, murderous grin.
Give her up easy, and I'll see you get a swift death. It'll be bloody and agonising, sure. But at least it'll be quick.
As if I would ever surrender to a common pirate. Do you have any idea who I am?
Who says I'm common? You've got the honour of being plundered by the fourth highest ranking pirate in the Principe.
Oh, I'm honoured.
Listen up, mates.
He cracks his neck as he addresses his crew.
I'm off to spear me a bigger fish. One with sharper teeth like. I'm trusting you lot not to cock this up. Don't damage the sloop when you take it. Play with the crew if you'd like, but don't bring me any prisoners. None that are alive.
You heard, Berath! After...
Oh, damn. Right, okay, so here we are in the midst of combat straight away. No prisoners, no mercy. There's quite a few of them, and Fedoran is up front and centre, and as we well know, he's not quite so up for that. So Adair, come hither, please. Let me get my bearings here. How do you... Is that right? There we go. Oof!
Defend the ship!
Where's he going? Adair, I think AI might be on. AI, oh no, it's inactive. Why is he going that way? I told you to turn here. Come here, face this man here. No, wrong person. Oh, we don't have control of Adair yet. Okay, that's what's going on. Flipping hell, it's good to see I'm on the ball here. Right, Fedora, just do your stuff. Uh-oh, missiles. Okay, so it's pausing because I've cast my my missiles here, you see. And it's pausing because I finished casting my missiles. Oh, that's a bit of a pain. Oof, Adair, don't just stand there, Gorpin, help me! Get on the floor. Nice. Okay, so animations are actually pretty good, much improved. Same can't be said for my tactics, though. I need to improve. Ooh, and Fedoran gets the killing blow!
Storm's picking up! Take cover!
You defeated the pirates, but you're not out of trouble yet. The storm picks up, lashing your ship and driving you dangerously close to a rocky shore. The Defiant's crew hurries to reduce sail and batten down the hatches. They work quickly, but the ship is still listing heavily. So this ship was apparently purchased with the last of Kednua's riches, taking us to the Deadfire archipelago, which is why I'm the captain. Just then, a loose crate tumbles towards you, gathering speed on the rain-slick deck. It misses you, but knocks Chitupek, one of your deckhands, off his feet. The Defiant heaves. Chitupek pitches over the side. He grabs onto the rail, but his fingers are slipping. He cries out for help. Meanwhile, the runaway crate totters on the edge of the deck, ready to plunge overboard. You recognise the symbol on the front and realise it likely contains the salvage from Kednua, your keep. Oh, hell. Okay. Fedoran is obviously still rather groggy. His doesn't know who this fella is, so his initial instinct is to rather selfishly, which is unlike him to be fair, to grab the crate in the sincere hope that some of his prized possessions are in it. You know, his company captain's hat, anything. And then, once he's pushed that aside, he then will go out and try to rescue Shipwreck second. Oh shit. You seize the crate just as it's about to tip into the roiling sea. It's heavy, but you manage to heave it back from the edge. As it thumps onto the deck, you hear a fading scream and a splash. Shipwreck is gone. There is no sign of him in the churning waves below. Meanwhile, the storm has nearly driven you ashore. A flash of lightning reveals a treacherous coastline and Aothus striding into the distance. The lookout barely has time to shout a warning before the Defiant runs aground. The impact hurls you from the deck and into a froth of waves, bodies and splintering debris. You struggle toward the beach just ahead, even as the surf tugs you toward the open sea. You kick and paddle with all your might until at last you feel sand between your fingers. Pulling yourself ashore, you collapse. Oh hell. Good old Fedoran there, rescuing his cargo instead of a person, but as I said, groggy, a bit confused.
A lot of sleep so far on this trip. I'd have woke you, but you look so peaceful with your face in the sand.
Adair runs his fingers through his hair and removes a strand of seaweed he finds lodged there. He examines it closely and then tosses it into the sand.
If you're worried about the ship, you can stop worrying. It's wrecked right over there.
Pointing somewhere over here.
So far, it's just you and me and the chair lady over there.
Think of why she's called Susie.
It's a relief to see you awake, my lord. I worried you were in for another long sleep.
Your steward appears to be lodged between some rocks. Despite this, her tone is warmly cheerful. Ugh, the hell? Where are we?
Don't know, but it's real pretty.
Difficult to say for certain. The Deadfire is spotted with islands, some quite small. The good news is that if the storm hasn't spun us round entirely, I'd say we're in charted waters. I believe the Valian Trading Company operates in the region.
Oh, well, happy days. I'll check in with them and surely they'll know who I am.
Hence that little visit from that wretched pirate captain.
Right, I'm assuming we can patch up the ship?
I'm afraid I won't be much assistance in that regard. And not to doubt Master Adair's capacity, but even he would need supplies.
That's true. Steak especially.
Patching the hull is only the start. You're going to need help getting the Defiant out to sea again. And a crew, for that matter.
Oh yes, the crew.
Let's see about the other survivors. And somehow we gotta get the ship repaired. I don't want to be paddling out of here on a salvage raft.
For now, I'd say your best bet is to find some sign of civilization. If nothing else, we may be able to hire on a shipwright. My lord, if it is not too taxing, could you explain how it came to pass that you were returned to us?
Yes, my soul passed into the beyond, and Berath gave me a choice. Find Aothus or die. I had no choice, really.
These gods. You make one deal with them to stop a madman, and the next thing you know, they're threatening your soul.
That isn't much of a choice. But castle or no castle, you are still my lord, and I will aid you to the best of my ability.
Ah. Glad of your loyalty, Susie. Glad of your loyalty.
Well, I suppose we better get a move on.
Indeed. Let us explore and figure out what on earth we're going to do to get us out of this mess. So So here he is, Adair finally officially joins us and ends any confusion going forward. So we can equip him as a fighter, as a rogue, or as a swashbuckler, aka multi-class fighter and rogue. Well, we'll stick with type and go with the same build as the original playthrough and have him as our main tank. We can actually preview the trees before we make the decision, which is actually quite handy, but no. I'm happy to have him as the plain fighter. And then there were two. So, the big question before we end the session, to say it'll be a little bit of a shorter one. What was worth sacrificing a deckhand for? Oil of Allure, Thief's Putty, and Killer's Gloves, plus 10 to crit damage. No hats, no items of great import, just another big disappointment. Sorry, Chitupek. So sorry. Right, I've got to say, it's noticeable how much better the graphics are already, and the animations and stuff. And all I can say is I'm looking forward to playing this game. I really am. So yeah, another shorter session, but rest assured the next one will be the usual 45 minutes to an hour, because I'm going to get stuck right into this game and enjoy every minute of it. But thank you for watching. Fedoran's adventures start now in earnest, so until next time, see you soon.